Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on managing files on your website. I am your host, Ryan Clancy. I am the Client Success Associate here at Educational Networks. Before we begin, we just have a few things to go over. Depending on the type of setup that you are using, your screen may look just a little bit differently. If you are using the web browser, you're going to use this setup over here on the right-hand side. To ask questions, simply click on the chat icon here and type your questions into this text field here. If you're using the desktop app, you're going to use this setup over here on the left. To ask questions with this one, simply click on the triangle right by where it says chat and type your questions into this text field here. Now, please don't be shy. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer those questions for you. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the different ways that we can add files onto our website. We're also going to talk about what the best type of file is to use on the site as well. That being said, let's go ahead and get started here. So it's important to note that on your website that there are quite a few different ways in which you can add files. Not only that, there's also different features in the site where you can place files onto as well as an attachment. So what we're going to start with first is actually with attachments itself. Now, areas of the site in which you can go ahead and add attachments to do include news and announcements, calendars, and also, for example, pages such as the principal's message too. So the great thing is that all of these areas where you're going to add the attachment, it all looks the same. So it makes it very, very easy to go ahead and use those. So what we would go ahead and do is to add a file. What we would do is we would first log into our admin system here. Click login. And essentially what we would go ahead and do is we would go to, for example, a news story or calendar where we would want to add that file. If we wanted to add it to an existing article, it's absolutely something that we can do. So as an example, if I wanted to add classroom expectations to remind students of what is expected for them when they are attending our upcoming SAT study sessions, that is absolutely something that I can do. So what I would want to go ahead and do is click on this article, and then right down over here where it says attachments, we're going to go ahead and click browse. Now notice that we have a photo here too. That's fine. We can still go ahead and add another file. But it also shows that you can go ahead for news and announcements and calendars. You can add files and photos to the same area. Same thing with pages too. What we do is we click browse. And we got to go ahead and find where that file is going to be. So be just one moment. Aha, classroom expectations, and we click open. Now, if I go ahead and I click save, and I go back over to our site, go back to news and announcements, and I click on upcoming SAT study sessions, I'm going to notice that we were able to go ahead and add a file of classroom rules and expectations. So clicking on this over here, we're able to go ahead and view the file with that. So this is one way that you can go ahead and add files to your site. But sometimes we may find ourselves where we don't necessarily want to add a file as an attachment, but rather we would prefer that the file more or less becomes part of the content on the site. So let's take a look at our career programs page. So right now, career programs has a listing of the career program curriculum that's offered at Green Tech High School. So say as part of that list, we wanted to go ahead and have an overview of that particular program. Well, what we can go ahead and do is add that into the text over here using, of course, the file manager. Going back into our admin system over here to use the file manager, we scroll down and it is just right above where it says push notifications. I click on the file manager over here, and we're going to be able to see our TrueView editor over here. Now, before I go ahead and add a file to this, the first step that I have to take is select the correct folder for it to be in. And if I do not see the folder for it to be in, I need to go ahead and create that file or directory over here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and select PDF. We are going to upload a PDF. And then what I want to go ahead and do is I want to click Browse. I want to find where that file is going to be. I have quite a few files here, so it may take just a moment. There it is. So we're going to be adding the Culinary Arts program to the Career Programs page. So just like any other file, what I do is I click on it here. I click Open. Now, before we do anything else, before we click the Apply Changes button, we must first copy this link over here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to highlight over this here. I'm going to copy that. After I've done that, what I can go ahead and do is I can click Apply Changes. Very important that we don't click Apply Changes until we've copied that link. What I'll do now is I'll click OK. I'll go back to the Career Programs page, scrolling down over here. I'll click on it. I'll click on the home page. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to highlight the Culinary Arts text over here. And as if I was going to go ahead and add a link to another website, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the globe icon over here. I click on that. I go ahead, delete that there, and then I click OK. I next click Save. And if we go back to the site and I click Refresh again, and now I click on the Culinary Arts text here, we're going to be able to view information about the Culinary Arts program that's offered at Green Tech High School. What's interesting though is that sometimes we may find ourselves in a situation that we want to access an older file. Perhaps it's a file that we don't have access to, but it does still exist on the site. When that happens, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to rebuild the link. Now, it sounds pretty complicated. The good news is it's very, very easy to follow. So there's a very simple formula that you want to follow, and actually it appears like this over here to rebuild the link. So this, of course, is our website URL over here. So essentially, it's the website URL, the folder name, and then the file name. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to rebuild the link, not for Culinary Arts, but we're going to add the classroom expectations for the Career Programs team onto the Career Programs page. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to the admin page. I'm going to click back here first, go back over to the admin page, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go back to the file manager. I'm going to find where our classroom rules and expectations are going to be. So what I do is I copy over this over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to extra sections. And then I click on Career Programs, back to the home page. And I'm going to highlight over this area over here. Now, just like before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the globe icon over here. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in our URL, which is GTech. I want to make sure I have this right. High School. .enschool. Then we go ahead and put in .org/PDF. Let me make sure of that there. So the PDF, I believe, is lowercase. So we're going to type in PDF. And then what we do is we paste the name of the file in there. So I'm going to go ahead and Command V. I'll look over that just to make sure everything's correct. All right, so that looks good. So remember what you're going to do when you need to rebuild a link. The formula is your website URL / the file name. More often than not, it's going to be a PDF, so /PDF, then / the name of the file. So we'll look at this here, we'll break it down. So we have our website URL over here. We'll scroll through this just a little bit. We see our file name, which is PDF, and then we're going to see the name of the file itself, which is classroom rules and expectations.pdf. So what I do now is I click OK, and now what I do is I click Save. Now if I go back over to the website and I click Refresh, and I click on this here, we're going to be able to view our classroom rules and expectations over here. All right, everyone. A common question that we get is going to be, what is the best type of file to use? The best type of file that you generally want to go ahead and use is going to be a PDF format. And the question is why? Well, generally, PDFs are considered to be a universal file type. So what that means is, regardless as to whether or not someone's viewing it on a PC, they're viewing it on an Apple computer, they're viewing it on a tablet or a smartphone, every single one of those devices is going to be able to go ahead and be able to view a PDF. All right, everyone. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And as I'm waiting for those questions to roll in, I'm going to show you how to get help from our team here at Educational Networks. What we're going to do is we're going to click on these squares over here, and then we're going to select the help desk. This is how you're going to get a hold of our amazing technical support team. What you'll do is you'll select create a ticket, and just like everything else on the site, it's just like going ahead and filling out a form. What's also great is if you do have something like an error message come up and you do have the opportunity to screenshot that error message, you can go ahead and send that to our team as an attachment. And that's something that helps us help you out a little bit more quickly. I got a great question, speaking of attachments over here, and the question is, what areas of the site can I go ahead and add files as an attachment? So with that there, that it does include news and announcements. It includes the calendars area, as well as pages. Now, when I say pages, usually what I'm referring to, of course, is perhaps your school's mission and vision statement or an About Us page. And it looks like over here we have another question. And the question is, will I be able to view this video later? That is a great question. We are currently working on adding brand new videos over to our knowledge base. And as a matter of fact, I want to go ahead and give that link over to you. Our knowledge base is filled with wonderful, wonderful resources for our staff, for staff members of our schools. So definitely recommend that you check that out. There's lots of great videos that you can use for that there. All right, everyone. Well, hey, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy days to join us here for our webinar. If you have any questions for myself, my name is Ryan Clancy. I am the Client Success Associate here at Educational Networks. Please feel free to send me an email anytime. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. We also do on the site have our phone number for our tech support team. So, okay, right over here. Tech support's available from 7:30 in the morning all the way up until 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Everyone, thank you all so much for everything that you do every day to inspire future generations, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.